so well, and we heard so much about it from Akhila as well. I want to start off with asking you, can you share with us a little bit about your journey in the film industry? How has kindness played a role in your career through those years?
Okay, then I'll have to start with where I went to study filmmaking. I went to the Adyar Film Institute. I was the first girl student. There were 150 boys who were so kind to me. Very kind to me. I don't know, it's because they were like, by nature, they were very kind people, or they knew that I had 15 rupees in my pocket, which was quite a lot. I'm talking about 40 years ago. 15 rupees in your pocket or in your wallet, it was big, so I had to take them to the canteen and buy them the teas and the coffees. I remember the first kind of, act of kindness that I had. It's actually very emotional. It might be very different from whatever you would expect. So there I was, 16 and a half, 17-year-old, in first year of college, and our college was very different from the colleges that you all went to. We have Monday to Friday. We have theory in the morning and practicals in the evening. On Friday, we watch a movie together, a 3-hour movie together. So after the first few weeks, we saw a film called Bicycle Thieves, which is all about kindness. You should go and watch it. Now that it's available, it's wartime Italy, and the kindness that the 4-year-old boy shows to his father is the whole film about. So we saw the film, and we were coming back from the projection theatre to a canteen or whatever. I sat in a little chair and I broke down. I broke down after seeing the film. So a classmate of mine told me that, don't be so emotional, it's only a story. You don't have to be emotional. So there was P.C. Sriram. You all know who P.C. Sriram is, isn't it? He's one of the best cinematographers in South India or India, who created the visuals that are even today copied by the pan-Indian films. So he was there 3 years my senior. He told my classmate, let her cry, because she's understanding the seriousness of the profession which is taken up. I think that is the first act of kindness that I saw. Somebody letting me cry and not coming and, pacifying me. He was very kind to me, saying that she has the freedom to cry, because that is what she realizes. The seriousness and, the magnitude of the profession that she's chosen in her life. And the second act of gratitude was, I was a cinematography student, but I then went to work for a film. And then Padmini Goramani was supposed to act in the film, but for some reason she was under contract. For anybody who knows this film called Ram Kisi Se Kamnani, yeah, she was acting in a film with Rishi Kapoor, so she was on a 3-year contract and she could do the Tamil film. And suddenly, the third camera assistant, I became the heroine of the film. I don't know what happened overnight. From behind the camera, I became the heroine of the film. There I didn't know anything about acting. I was all lighting up and was also a rookie when it comes to lighting and follow focus and all that. And then for the first scene that we were shooting in Kamal Park in Bangalore, the assistant director came and told me, women don't talk Tamil we say, like that. You talk softly and you are like coy and all that. I was thinking, where in the world does he expect me to be coy? Because it was not taught in my film institute. So then my director saw from a distance and he said, let her be. She's being natural, she's being herself, let her be. I think that is the second act of kindness that I saw in the film industry. Today I'm an actress because of that kindness from my director called Mahendra. So you can go on adding to the journey, because see, kindness doesn't come from what you do to other people. It comes from the kindness that you received as a child, as an adult, or as a young adult or a teenager. So I'm trying to remember all the people who have been very, very kind to me. And then in my industry, when I was a heroine, I was 18 and a half and 19. All the stories that were offered to me were all teenage love stories. Because, you can't be a heroine, like running a house and, taking care of problems in the Zamindar's house, because you're too young. So all the stories that were offered to me were college teenage love stories. I just told my director, I am bored of falling in love. I don't want to fall in love and then lose this guy and then, come back and catch up with him and get married and all that. can we think of something else? So for the first time, the directors heard somebody say, I don't want to do love stories, can you think of something else? So he came up with a story of this girl who's loved by everyone in the family. But, you know, we have this, I'm talking about 1980s, we have the typical ceremony of a boy's family coming to see a girl to fix the marriage. So that one day was the story of the film. And they come and see her, and then this bargaining starts about dowry and how much money, how much gold and things like that. Her two brothers say, she's the most precious person in the family. Why are we trying to send her away? You know? So that story was written because I went and told the director, I don't want to do love stories. I want to thank him because he was very, very kind to me. He was very, very kind to me. See, this is all kindness. Today I'm sitting before you talking about my 43-year-old career in film industry because people have been kind to me all the while. So it's not the stories you see outside. I'm talking about the stories that happen behind the camera where they were all very, very kind, shaping somebody who had a talent. If they were not kind to me, my talent or whatever, you know, the so-called assumed talent that I have would not have been exposed to people at all.
So it was really nice to hear about all these experiences that you had, where people, random acts of kindness, small things that touched you deeply, and feel that this is you. But do you feel in general in the industry, people are choosing themes, or should they be choosing themes around human values, around kindness in a more proactive and positive way?
They don't do it at the beginning of the career because it's a rat race, so you want to, it's like how you are in school. You want to score more marks than your friend. You're not kind to that friend at all because somehow you want to do better than your best friend. She might be your best friend, he might be your best friend. My best friend, a boy, was scoring better than me, so I went to tell my father, you know his father, and you know his father's superiors, can you transfer his father from our hometown to some other city so that I become the first rank holder? So that is how it is. Even in films, the same, theory applies. In the beginning of their career, all of them are just looking at winning or establishing their career. But as they get older, there are always topics about stability, differently with people, and kindness and goodness. It comes a little later in their stories. So, who's ever film that you're talking about, when he matures, he will definitely make a film which is about kindness. So, give him some time.
Yes, we will not mention any names here.
No, yes. I'm a writer, so I have to, poke around and find out what you are thinking about. I know what exactly you are talking about.
People move on to the next question very quickly. So, what do you find is the reason why people are choosing to go the mainstream route right in the beginning? Do you feel that the reception in the public is for what are the topics and the things that people are receiving? Because clearly, in the start of the career, if they are not choosing to do socially mindful topics and themes, is it because of the reception?
The first 1 and 2, they will want to do whatever they have kind of imbibed in their young life. All the goodness they wanted in the first 1 and 2 films. After that, there is actually no opportunity because other things start influencing you. I'm talking about a typical filmmaker or a writer. In the first, all that he wants to put in, all that he gathered from the society, he wants to put in his first and second film. After that is when the rat race starts. So the first 2 films are really virgin and wonderful.
So I know that what we're hearing from you is that you had all this experience and all the good feelings that you were able to put back into films, but we know that you also have done a lot of good outside. You carry your values, the things that you stand for. You are able to use your influence to make a genuine impact. Can you tell us about what are the things that you're passionate about? What are, let me say your pet projects, things that make you wake up in the morning with a purpose?
See, I'd like to tell you why I started my NGO. Mani and I, my husband and I, we tell stories to people, which actually means that I'm just sharing my ideas, I'm sharing my opinion about the world, with the audience. So after some time I said, what else can we do other than telling stories of human beings and relationships? What else can we do? He said, the noblest profession in the world is being a doctor. because you're saving lives, you're curing people pain. And you and I, it's too late to go get a medical degree, so let's start a non-government organization to help people. So that's how our NAM Foundation started, and we, from being in India, I wanted to start something for single, divorced, Muslim women and Dalit women. Okay, so that was what I wanted to start. I mean, I don't have to go through the background of why I chose that. You all know that they needed support and they still need support. Single women, divorced Muslim women and Dalit women. Single, so they needed the support. So when I was getting ready for it, my husband said, "Why are you differentiating between people, especially women? You know, everybody should be welcome." And that's how we started NAM Foundation, which is for single women. So that's how we started. But even then, you know, this is an act of kindness, trying to help 150 people who are single, being their extended family. But at every step of the way, the kindness should come in. For example, I just want to narrate an incident. We take women, we have a form which they have to fill up, and on the first day of the month, we get about 50 women, and we have volunteers who are filling up your name, where you stay, like what was your husband, when did he die, you know, and what are you living on. So you have a television in your house, how many children, how are you educating them, who's helping you financially in your family, and all this. So this was going on, and it was taking time. So I said, let me also, even though I had the NGO, I said, let me also do some form filling. So I sat with one girl, and I started filling up the form. What's your name? She said, Manjula. And what have you studied? She said, 10th standard. So I gave her a kerchief or a tissue and said, you have to blow, not blowing. Those are things that we try to teach them. And she kept on sniffing, so I said, will you stop sniffing? I'm not able to concentrate. So please blow and come back. She went and came back. Again, she was sniffing. So after 8 questions, my question was, when did your husband die? She said 7 days ago. And I realized how unkind I was to her. So you are trying to help people, and in the process, you are being really unkind. I just put the paper and pen down and said, please accept my apologies. I am so sorry I am very insensitive and unkind to you. So this is what I am saying. You might try to be kind to somebody, in the process, you will not be kind to them. So the kindness has to be part of yourself. In every step of the way, it has to be kindness. So that is what I am aiming at for everyone in this room, especially me. Because if I am not kind from inside, there is no way I can be kind to somebody else. However, it could be a very rich person. It could be a very rich person. I'll give you a small example. I was going to Goa for my niece's wedding, so we booked extra luggage. We all do that because we are going for a wedding. But when I was just entering, in the counter, when I was going and checking in, I realized I had 10 kilos extra and I didn't have the luggage. At that time, there was another woman who was struggling because she had about 8 kilos, and the person was asking her to go to the other extreme at the end of the airport to go and pay the excess luggage. It's not like she didn't have the money, she didn't have the time. She would miss the flight and things like that. So I stepped forward and I said, why don't you take my excess baggage? My husband was shocked. He said, you don't know that lady. You don't know who she is. I said, why not? She's another person like me who's struggling. So I can go help her. So it's not who you are helping. Just because you are helping a differently able person or a poor person or a child, it doesn't mean it's holier than helping somebody who's richer or well established. So there cannot be any disparity when you're kind to somebody. You have to be kind to everybody in this world. That's what I try to do.
Despite your position and your ability to get things moving, I'm sure it's a little easier for you than for some of us who don't have that kind of visibility. Do you still face any challenges? Do you think there are things that hold you back, or where it has been a little difficult, or setbacks have happened that you have to deal with? Anything you can share?
When you don't see results, it's very frustrating. When you're kind to somebody, and you're kind to somebody because you're trying to help them reach a particular level. As a human being, or as a professional, or as a mother, or as a father, or a friend, and when they don't reach that particular level, you get disappointed, and sometimes you wonder, why am I doing all this? Because it's of no use, But then you realize that you are being very materialistic. Kindness does not come with you know, with profits. You're not going to be profited just because you're being kind to somebody.
And on that note, you probably can think of there have been several success stories of people you helped. There may have been stories of people who, success did not happen, but like you said, you didn't see the results. So when I ask you to think of a story, what comes first, the success or the ones that didn't work?
Only the success, you know. In my NGO, we have 49 first generation graduates. 49. It's unbelievable. In their family, no one has been a graduate. And by chance, they just stumbled upon our foundation and they came. And we kind of looked after these women and we told them, like, what do you want for yourself? And they said, we don't want anything for ourselves, we want for our children. So that kindness, maybe it's a maternal instinct, but they said we want something for our children. So we shifted our focus from women's health and women's security, women's profession to the children's education. It's the least expected, Mahima. So we have 49 first generation graduates. You know what change it is going to do to their lives for generations. These 49 families are completely taken care of. He's going to tell his sister, younger brother, he's going to tell his cousins, he's going to tell his nieces, his nephews, say, I studied, I graduated, I got this job, and I'm somebody, you should do that too. You know, so that's like every time this happens, you know, all of us, I think we feel happier than something happens in our own family or to ourselves.
You know, on that note, what you were saying, you know, we talk about how can we be kinder to others, what can you do that's good. Do you feel any of what you do outside the world, you carry back home and it has impacted your, you know, your interpersonal relationships in any way? Does it change your life?
That's the dichotomy of human being, you know. See, if you're very successful, okay, and you're in a position of power, you think that you have to be very strict with people, that's when work gets done. So it's a wrong concept, but we are all very strict with our subordinates, people who are colleagues who are all working with us. Similarly, when you're not doing that, you don't want to be kind to anybody. Because what's the point of being kind to anybody? My life is my life chance. So these are all dramas and stories that we create in our head, and I'm creating it myself too. You know, I do it. Like I tell my staff at home, you know, I go help some 45 women today. I mean, today I have a workshop. I mean, she knows that I have to go, and 45 to 50 women are coming, so I have to keep them engaged, I have to keep them enthusiastic and exuberant and happy. But at home, and there are 3 women who are working with me who make a mistake, I say, I'm able to make 45 women happy, but 3 women, I don't know how to make you happy and work well. So there is a dichotomy which is there, which needs to be cured in all of us.
The starting point is to just accept that this dichotomy exists.
Yes, it exists, and it's so sad that maybe I think every day, like instead of writing 3 round days, you have to say that I'm like this, I'm outside, I'm different, I have this dichotomy, I don't know.
I feel that, you know, we accept that this is there, and once that awareness comes in, then slowly, I hope that, you know, we listen to inspiring stories of people like you, and someday we create an environment we can just blend the outward and the inward.
I'm so glad I'm going today because about 10 years ago, a friend of mine from Dubai called Anne, in fact she was here yesterday, we just sat together and we decided we want to start a foundation which is kindness, gratitude and grace. All the 3 things, you know, kindness is, she was just narrating an incident that she's been living abroad most of the time, she's from Kerala. So she went to Bangalore to Baskin Robbins or Haagen-Dazs or some ice cream or whatever to buy an ice cream. So this guy comes and says, what can you do for you, madam? And then there's a woman who's in her late 30s or early 40s says, I want money ice cream. And then he says, you want it? Yeah, chocolate sauce. And then, you know, hundreds of thousands goes sweetless. Yeah, put that also. Yeah, give it to me. And my friend was saying, ice cream is something that we love so much. So how do you request or ask a seller in the counter, can I have an ice cream please? But instead you learn to give me an ice cream. You know, she said, you lack kindness to people who serve you. Because she's in the service industry, she was saying, we have to be kind to people who serve, people who work with us, you know, people who see, whom we don't even know. And in India, if you're getting in an elevator and smile at somebody, he thinks you're hitting on him. Yeah, in India that's how it is. If you just smile at somebody, you think, oh, she's an easy person, then you can get her to on a day easily. I remember I was driving in my early 30s and I went to Paris. And I was there for about 20 days and I saw people stopping at crossroads and saying, with a smile, they said, you come. So, so I did that. This guy followed me for the next 1 kilometer. And I said, you can go. Yeah, you can go. I'm going this side, you can go. I'm waiting for you. He followed me. So next time I would go, so smile at somebody and say, please, I'm giving you way. So there is a cultural difference also when it comes to kindness. So after talking to her, we wanted to see this and then look at her architecture. So beautiful 100 years ago. Today's the architecture, it's so bad. I mean, I live in Besanagar. They're trying to be nice to the students who are all drawing or something. The beautiful granite walls have been painted white. So the grace is completely gone. So I think the beauty and the grace and the aesthetic, approach to everything is going away. And of course, gratitude. That's another topic.
I feel like it can keep going on and on.
So maybe you should join me in kindness, grace, and
That would be such
gratitude.
that would be a privilege.
Yeah.
And I feel like we can continue this conversation for a really long time. There's so much of wisdom and knowledge that I feel like I'm absorbing from you. Could you leave us with one parting word of how we could convert kindness into a mindful act? Just like a quick one, something just for everyone to walk away with.
Like when you meet a stranger, I think you should look at that person as a newborn baby who's helpless, who doesn't know what is ahead, who doesn't know to feed himself or herself or to, extricate by herself or himself. I mean, I'm just giving you very, very, very blunt examples, but every time you see a stranger or somebody who just who's an acquaintance, instead of judging them, if you can look at them as a newborn baby who's completely dependent on you for survival, I think world will be a great place.
Thank you so much. That's lovely. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mama.